Hey gaming fans, so today I have another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile, and this one's kind of a fun deck, one that I started working on a little while ago actually, and I just kind of had it to the side, and I thought, hey, let's take a look at this again, and so I put, some different cards in that I originally had in here, and kind of made it, a little bit more interesting. So this deck is all about having high defense and being able to use that to your advantage. So the first card we have, we got two copies of, is Stone Statue of the Aztecs. That's quite an old card. You pretty much double any battle damage your opponent takes when they attack this monster. So he's got 2,000 defense, and obviously the idea is to try and raise that defense, so when they do run into him, they do take a lot of damage. And then the next card I have, which is a newer edition, which is also an older card, is Gagaga Gardna. So this one is a warrior. This deck does need some warriors in it, so when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, I can special summon this card from my hand, and then when this card is targeted for an attack, I can discard one card, and this can't be destroyed by that battle. So, I mean, if they have something that is stronger than the 2,000 defense, then you can actually save them in battle. So, not too bad. Then we have one that's really good in this deck is Gear Golem, the Moving Fortress. Another older card as well. And once per turn, during your main phase, by paying 800 life points, this card can attack your opponent directly. So this can come in handy because he does have a weak attack, but his defense is really high, and there's a card that can help us with that. And again, as I was saying, we need warriors, so 3 of the Big Shield Gardna. This is if it's face down and is targeted by a spell card like Nobleman of Crossout, you get to flip this over and then negate that effect. And then if this card is changed to attack position, if this card is attacked, it's changed to attack position. So again, there's a card to help that out. And then we got some more warriors. So we got 3 of the Big Shields and 3 Destiny Hero Defender. Probably the biggest defense monster you can get for a level 4 anyways, that I'm aware of. If this card is face-up defense position during your opponent's standby phase, your opponent draws 1 card. So it does give you that little bit of drawback there, where your opponent does get a card. But, hopefully you can, deal enough damage that you don't have to worry about that. Then we have Stronghold Guardian, which is kind of like your Honest of the deck. So if a defense position monster you control is attacked, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard during the damage step, and you have your attacked monster gain 1,500 defense until the end of turn. So it's kind of like Honest, but it boosts defense instead of offense. Again, it's a warrior, so that's pretty good. And then we got some tribute monsters. So I got 2 Millennium Shield. I figure with the high defense, there's a very good chance a monster is going to be stick around long enough that you can tribute to put this guy into play. He's a warrior, and he's 3,000 defense, which is good. And just for fun, I threw in a total defense Shogun, because he kind of fits the theme of the deck. He can attack while he's in defense mode, but you have to keep in mind that he uses his attack when he attacks, not his defense. So you just got to keep that in mind. He's only 1,550 attack, but his defense is pretty high, so he kind of works in this deck. He's kind of like those samurai guys that can attack in defense mode. But he was the first guy, I think, to ever do that. So that's the monster lineup. Well, let's get to the spells. Pretty good amount of monsters there. So because we're playing a lot of warriors, definitely play Reinforcement of the Army. If this card was at more than 1, I would definitely play more than 1. But I guess that's all we have. And as I said about Big Shield Gardna, this is the card that's going to help you, and that's Magnum Shield. So you equip only to a warrior, which is why we also need a lot of warriors, to apply this effect. So if it's in attack position, it gains attack equal to its original defense, and if it's in defense position, it gains defense equal to its original attack. So this card was definitely made for your Big Shield Gardna, because he does go into attack mode after he is attacked. So, if you can manage to get this on him, he's always going to have high attack and defense. So it's just a really good card to use, especially if you want to go on the offensive, because this deck you don't want to just always rely on being in defense mode. You might want to go on the attack as well. So then we have one Concentrating Current. I just kind of came across this card. I wasn't aware of it before, but target one face-up monster you control. It gains attack equal to its current defense until the end of this turn. Other monsters you control cannot attack during this turn it's activated. So that's actually pretty good. Again, with Big Shield Gardna, or even Gear Golem, the Moving Fortress, because he can attack directly. You can transfer over his defense into his attack. So there's a lot of good cards that you can use there. And then we have, because we're playing a field spell in this deck, just gonna clean that up a bit. Because we're playing a field spell, so I got Terraforming, and the field spell is Savage Colosseum. Kind of an odd field spell. If a monster attacks at the end of the damage step, its controller gains 300 life points, which is, whatever, 300 life points. And then all monsters must attack if able. During the end phase, destroy all face-up attack position monsters the turn player controls that did not declare an attack. So, what it's doing is it's forcing your opponent who has any attack position monsters to attack your high defense monsters. So it's really just a fun card to mess around with your opponent. And I threw it in one enemy controller, because if they try to leave a monster in defense mode thinking they're safe, you can turn it to attack mode. And then force that one to attack. So that might be pretty fun. And then I had one more extra slot in this deck, so I put in Harpy's Feather Duster, just in case back row becomes a problem, you might be able to get rid of it. And that's your spell lineup. And now for the traps. So this does play quite a few traps as well. So the first trap we have is Inverse Universe. So this will switch the attack and defense of all face-up effect monsters on the field. Unfortunately, it's not going to have anything. It's not going to do anything with your big guy, because he's not your Millennium Shield, because he's not an effect monster. So that's the only downside to running that card. But other than that, all your other monsters will their high defense will become their attack, and this might actually have an adverse effect on your opponent if a lot of their monsters are high attack and low defense. And of course, it won't have any effect on Link monsters, unfortunately. Then we have 3 D2 shields. So you select a face-up defense position monster you control. Its defense becomes double its original defense. So this can really, really do a lot of damage, especially if you have your... What's this name? Not the Gear Golem. I could find it in here. The Stone Statue, that's what I'm looking for. Who actually doubles the damage. So you get this guy really high, and then you double the damage, so you can get him up to like 4,000 defense, and then that doubles to 8,000. So that could be pretty nutty. Then we got Cross Counter. So this is another one that will help you out. If the defense of an attacked defense monster is higher than the attack of your opponent's attacking monster, the battle damage inflicted to your opponent is doubled. Again, like I was saying, you double the damage, and then you destroy the attacking monster after damage calculation. So not only are they going to take a lot of damage, but they're going to lose their monster as well. And then for fun, Fairy Box. The downside to this card is a coin flip card, so you're not always going to get it perfectly, but it could be fun and it could end games. Each time a monster on your opponent's side of the field attacks, toss a coin and call heads or tails. If you call it right, the attacking monster's attack becomes 0 during the damage state. And then you have to pay 500 life points during each of your standby phase. If you cannot, this card is destroyed. Again, if you have your Stone Statue of the Aztecs and they have to attack it at 2,000, and then they take double the damage, and then their monster becomes 0, they're going to take a ton of damage. So that's really what the deck is focusing on, is just, it can stay in defense mode and it can go into attack mode. It's just a fun deck to really mess around with your opponent. Not really considered a tournament deck per se. But yeah, let me know what you think. Obviously, I didn't build a side deck, or sorry, an extra deck. This is really just a fun combo style deck, but you could have an extra deck. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of extra deck monsters you could throw in there. There is, you know, a lot of level 4s you could throw in your links, but it kind of messes around with the strategy. It messes up the strategy of the deck. So it's really up to you, and if you think you would actually go into a side deck or extra deck. I keep saying side deck. Anyways, hope you liked the video, or the deck. Let me know what you think. Throw some suggestions out there if there's some other high attack monsters that I didn't bring into this. And what would you take out? I don't know. Maybe the Millennium Shield. I'm sure there's something better than that. I only liked it because it's a warrior, and your Magnum Shield makes your warrior like 3,000 attack. So that's, you know, pretty good to still have a 3,000 attacker. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.